Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Sebastian. How are you doing? Great. Okay, we'll wait a little bit. I'm good, thank you for asking. Hi, Jose. How are you doing? Okay, so we'll start in a couple minutes. We're gonna finish up our lab today. I edited the document last night. We had to fix the wiring pi for Pi 4 based on how it's written. Okay. So we'll start shortly. Hang tight. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Okay, so we'll start in a minute. I edited the lab document yesterday because wiring pi, the old library will not work with the new model of Raspberry Pi. So there were some fixes that needed to be done, and I'll explain that. Okay, so if you wired up the speaker, the buzzer yesterday, and it didn't sound, it's because the library wasn't the right version. So okay, so it's 2 o'clock. I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome back to Raspberry Pi course. Today we are going to work on our lab. As I mentioned, I modified the document last night. So I'll talk about what's needed to be completed. We previewed some of this yesterday, and so we talked about the piezo. So if you have the device, you can take it out. We're gonna go ahead and put together the circuit. Any question? Okay, so today we are gonna finish up exercise 1 and then hopefully we can address exercise 2. I noticed yesterday on the video when I was going through it and also throughout the session, when I'm using Zoom on the Raspberry Pi, it's a little slow. So I'm gonna hopefully use VNC today, and um, that way it's a little bit more streamlined. Okay, so buzzer. We are using the buzzer today, and that's known as the piezo. It gives you a little bit of information about the buzzer. Um, and unlike the Arduino, we're not doing too much to this. And if you start looking for exercises online with buzzer, you do see some exercises. I've seen some with Super Mario that requires a little bit longer script, but you can follow along with this particular exercise and you can see. Okay, so we are going to use the piezo. You're going to need a breadboard. And if you're hooking up your Raspberry Pi to a monitor, you are going to need a mouse and a keyboard, or you can use VNC. We touched on that yesterday. So on your computer, you're going to use VNC Viewer, and then on the Raspberry Pi, you have to enable VNC. And you are going to need 2 jumper wire, male to female, and just plug your Raspberry Pi in and it should automatically boot when you plug it in. We already went over how to install your OS. Okay. So your circuit is going to entail um, the buzzer. And all you have to do is plug it in directly to the breadboard. So this is the breadboard. And you would, I suggest that you can use on this side or this side, right? You don't want to use the positive and the negative channel over here. And then you are going to plug in your wires. Now I highlighted the area. So if you don't know the GPIO, you can use your card like this. And so you are going to plug one to pin 11, and that's going to be the positive side. So if you're looking at the positive side, that will be red in this picture. And the negative side, you are going to plug it into the ground. So let me stop share real quick and then I can show you. Let me switch camera. So here's my breadboard. You can plug it in directly to the breadboard. And then you just need 2 jumper wire. The jumper wire would then connect to the GPIO pins that's located on the Raspberry Pi. So when you look at that, on the right side, the right column of the pin, you are going to count 6 pin down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th pin is going to be your pin 11. So if you look at, if you look at the card here, if you count from the top down, pin 11 is located on the 6th pin, so that will be on this one. Okay, I have it on my green. And then on the negative side, you can count on the left column down, and you're going to plug it into pin number, the 7th pin, which is going to be your ground pin. Now for the buzzer, there are 2 legs to the buzzer. You're going to see there's a shorter leg and a longer leg, right? Okay, so your long is going to be your positive, and you can also see so my long is on the left and my short is on the right, and that will be for my positive on the left and negative on the right. Okay, and so that's how it looks like. And so if you're not sure which pin, you can use this. Okay, so when you look at the card, it's going to be like this, so that way you know which pin that's going to be located. Any question? Okay, so we are going to put together the circuit. Then so once we plug in our buzzer and our ground pin, what you will need to do is you will need to set up your wiring Pi module. Yesterday when I had this up, so in the Raspberry Pi 3B, all you have to do is to be able to pull the GitHub of the wiring Pi and then change the directory and build it. On the Raspberry Pi 4, WiringPi actually comes with the OS, but it's the older release of it. And when you have the older release of it, it doesn't have necessarily the right component in order for this project to work. So you will have to do several things before you can get it to really start sounding. So first, you are going to install Git, and because we are pulling the script from a GitHub, then you are going to check the version of it. Okay, so we would first then would do sudo apt-get install git. So on here, what you will need to do is you will need to open up your terminal, which is this button right here, and we would type sudo apt-get install git core. Let me double check to see if my okay. And then it's gonna install, and so that's what you need to do first. Then you would type in GPIO-V to check the version of it. Okay. And so here in this area, it's gonna tell you what version that is. And so now the WiringPi, it's gonna work with the GPIO as it's mentioned briefly in the first part. So it talks about how the WiringPi is a GPIO access library. So it's going to work in order for the buzzer to sound. It's going to look at what's connected to GPIO. It's going to map out the electrical connection to that particular pin on your GPIO. So after we have installed the Git and then we check the GPIO version, what you need to do on yours is you are going to purge or remove the version that came with your OS. Okay. I had to do this a couple of times, even though I installed the latest one. So you need to purge the one that comes with your Raspbian. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have to take it away from all the locations, all the directories that it's linked to. Okay, so we are gonna next, after we looked at the version, we are going to issue the command to purge the old release of the WiringPi. Okay, so we do sudo apt-get purge WiringPi. Oops. Okay. So what it's gonna do is basically we looked at the version and then we're gonna uninstall the packages. Okay, so then sorry. Oh no, and it says okay. And then we are gonna do a #r. Oops. Okay. So #r is a way that we can take it away from all the original location. because when you install your OS, it automatically installed the WiringPi with it. And we wanted to get rid of it, and then we wanted to unlink that particular library with all necessary area in your Raspbian. Any question? Sorry, it's a little small. I'm using VNC in my Raspberry Pi. Okay. Then next, what we're going to do is we are going to do a git clone. Okay. So we are going to do a git clone, https github.com wiringpi.git.
Dr. Wen?
Yes.
I'm wondering, I think I'm missing that black part where you connect the wires to.
The buzzer?
Yeah,
You don't have a buzzer?
I don't think I do. I'm looking.
It might be a smaller buzzer. One second. Let
Oh,
me show you another one that I might
I have
have.
I have this one. Let me share my screen. I mean, sorry, not share my turn on my video. Or oh wait.
Okay, 1 second, Cynthia.
Uh-huh.
Which one do you have? One
I
second.
have. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have this. Let's see.
Okay, so that's not that's one of the sensor. That's a different sensor. Did they give you a round one like this, or it might look something like this.
Oh yeah, I don't have that.
It has two legs like this.
No. Yeah, I'm not taking 833C, Kevin. But I mean, I can go to the makerspace and grab one.
Okay, yeah.
Huh?
So if you want, you can look at there. So somebody said that you might see, there might be in a small bag. Sometime, yeah. Sometimes there's missing parts coming from the kits. But yeah, if you took the 833A, it came with the Arduino. Sorry about my dog. It came with the Arduino, or sometimes it comes with an individual bag like this. So this one is the larger one. It should have like a two leg like this.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Uh-huh.
And then, or it might be small or it might be a little larger. Okay. So
Okay. It doesn't.
if you don't have it, maybe you can email Abraham or look at the announcement. Yeah, you can pick it up since you also work there.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm sorry. What was the name of it? I'm sorry.
It's called, you can let them know that you need a speaker or the buzzer.
Speaker buzzer. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it wouldn't be this though, right? Not this, huh?
No,
No.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a difference. That's a sensor. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
So
Thank.
sometimes it would have like a little round sticker at the top. Okay. I know that I know that the larger one comes with the Arduino kit, and I know I bought a bunch of these before, and they should have them available. If not, let me know. I have boxes of them, so yeah, if they need it, I was just there this morning. I dropped off something there this morning, so I can go there. I know they close tomorrow, so
Yeah.
yeah, so if you want to, you can turn it in next week. If you don't, if any of you are missing parts that you can't finish today, you can turn stuff in next week. That's fine. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
You're welcome. Okay. So what we need to do is we are going to set up a way to clone the repository that was created for WiringPi. Okay. And then we are going to change So when you do that, what will happen is it's going to pull all the files and the folder that was included in that repository on Git. And then it's going to bring that, basically you download that to your computer. And then we are going to get into the folder or the directory of WiringPi. Otherwise, you will not have that folder. Okay. So let's go here. .com. Let me see, what did I miss here? WiringPi. And the last part is just wiringpi.git. Okay, so on mine it says fatal error. I already have it. I pulled it yesterday to test it. So, you know, it's not going to make another folder on top of that. So for you, when you issue that command, it's going to go through and it's going to pull down all the files and the directory that's needed, and it's going to put that on your Raspberry Pi. Okay. So we are doing exercise 1 and we're at step 2E. We just finished that. So once you already pull that from the GitHub, then you are going to change the directory to a folder or change to a directory called WiringPi. So all you have to do with that is you're gonna issue cd WiringPi, and you have to type it as it is. Okay. And once you get there, you're gonna see that it's gonna put you in the path, right? It's gonna include it in the path showing that you are in that folder, okay, or that directory. And it's important that you do that because there's certain script that belongs to certain directory or subdirectory. So we have to make sure that we are using the right folder that has the appropriate file. Otherwise, if you just put it anywhere, it's not going to work. It's not going to be able to build. Okay, so that's why we pull everything that they created, and then we're going to move into that folder. Once we move into that folder, then we are going to apply the changes to all the origin. So we're going to do a git pull origin. Okay, git. Okay, so it should tell you that it would be up to date, and it's important that we do this so that way we would have the latest release, because the latest release of WiringPi library is written for Raspbian Buster, because the older version will not work. Then you are going to issue the build script, and what that will do is it's gonna build the helper files, and it's gonna put it in the path so that way WiringPi can be accessed. So you're gonna do a /build. Okay, and it's gonna go for a little bit. You're gonna see the library information, okay, and it's gonna show you that it's finished. Anybody have any question? So with that, what you see is now you already have the library that you're gonna need. And what we're gonna do next is we are going to acquire another GitHub repository that has, you know, the song that was created, which is the Star Wars Imperial March song. And we are gonna use another GitHub repository in order to run our script. So technically, you don't really have to write your script. You can if the script already exists and it's open source, and it's available through Git, you can pull it and you can be able to run it. And so for developer, this is a very convenient tool in that I don't have to start from scratch. I can pull resources from GitHub or Git in order to be able to build out my application. And I'm teaching you this so in the case where if you're using Linux, right, or you're using command line, and in terminal, even on Mac OS, you can issue command to do this without having to browse the internet and search. As long as you know the library name or the GitHub repository, you should be able to acquire it. Okay, so this shows you how you can do that. So for after we build it, you want to check your version again to make sure that it's the appropriate version, right, for the Raspbian that you're using. So then you are going to go into your terminal again, and you are going to do GPIO-V, and that's going to give you the version. Okay, and you notice that now it should say Raspberry Pi 4 Model B revision 1.2, right? This Raspberry Pi supports the user level GPIO access. Okay. I know that they're doing some beta with this particular library for the Raspbian OS. So so I think in the next release of Buster, you're gonna see that it's gonna be a little bit more, it's gonna be easier. So a few months from now, when we're doing this activity, we might not need to go through this particular process, or it might be a different process. So you know, and it changes. Okay. All right, so then what we're gonna do is we are going to do a read all with GPIO command. And what that's gonna do is gonna draw the table to show you the pins that are available on your connector. That means that the pins, the 40 pins on your Raspberry Pi on the left side, it's gonna be able to map that. Okay, so we're gonna do GPIO read all, one word. Okay, so you're gonna see a little table there. Okay, so it tells you the BCM, and we saw some of this when we did the LED exercise yesterday, right? When you're trying to use a specific pin, you first have to set up the BCM. Then after that, you know, once you declare your variable that contains the pin value, then you're gonna have to tell it to output. So ultimately, no matter what you use, whether it's LEDs or buzzer, you have to be able to set that up. And in this one, we're not doing too much scripting. We're just gonna be pulling the GitHub. So so this is how you can read your GPIO table or see it. Okay, you would do a GPIO read all. Okay. All right. Any question? Okay. So after we have set up our WiringPi, then we are going to clone another GitHub repository, and that's going to be our Pi example. I know that if you look at this person's repository, you're going to find that he did like a few songs. The ones that we are going to use is going to be Star Wars. So so I want to show you how you can pull his script and be able to run it with your own Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we're gonna do a git clone. HTTPS github.com, and I think that one is Leon Anavi. So the original tutorial that I have used with Raspberry Pi 3, which works perfectly, is actually posted by him. And he also had a few tutorial videos that was posted, but his tutorial only worked for Raspberry Pi 3B. The 4B is a little bit different. So I modified the steps and implemented the fix for it. So that way you can see there. Oh, I think I'm missing something on the path here. Leon Anavi, RPi examples, git. Let me double check why it's not. It worked. I had tested it yesterday with the actual. Yeah, you want it to be in the WiringPi. Okay, 1 second. Let me double check my. Are you getting also oh, I can't because I already have it cloned. So if you don't have it cloned, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, never mind. That should be fine. So you should be in WiringPi directory. Okay. Yeah, I get the fatal error is because I already have it cloned yesterday, so it's not gonna rewrite the directory, just like the earlier ones. Okay. So once you have that, you're gonna be able to clone his repo. Then next, what we're gonna do is we are going to, once you have that repo, you are gonna change into the directory called rpi-example. Okay. So once you already pull the files and folder from that repository, you are gonna go into cd rpi-examples. Okay. And it should show the path for you there. Okay, so now we're in that folder because if you don't have that repository, you won't be able to navigate into that folder. Okay. Then after that, we are going to move into another folder and a folder within it called buzzer and then C. Okay, CD buzzer C. Okay, so now we're inside two additional folder, which is inside C under buzzer, under RPi example, and under WiringPi. Okay. Then after that, we are going to, because this is written in C, you have to issue the GCC. And what we're going to do is we are going to set this up so that way it's going to play Star Wars. Okay, so you're going to do GCC Star Wars.c option Star Wars, and that's going to be L wiring pi, right? And then so we have to type that in. GCC Star. Oops, sorry. STD equals C9. Okay. So once it takes that, okay, if you haven't plugged it into the Raspberry Pi, you need to plug it into the Raspberry Pi, your circuit, and then we are going to issue the last command, which is going to be sudo, right, /Star Wars. You hear it? There you go. So you have Imperial March and it's working. Okay, so now you know how to pull GitHub or Git repository with script and then link that to your Raspberry Pi, build it, run it, and put together a circuit with it. Okay, And then if I wanted to play it again, because it's not in loop, you just up the arrow key and then press enter, and it will just keep playing until you get bored of it, and then you can unplug it. Any question? Okay, so if yours is not playing, check your wiring, okay, from there, and also make sure that you have all the appropriate step that's listed. Any question? Let me see if I can change this. Yeah, I can probably make the font larger. I should have done that. Sorry. Let's go 20. Select. Okay. Yep, much better, right? Sorry, I apologize. I didn't remember how to do that earlier, so I should have done that at the beginning. Any questions regarding your exercise 1? So once you have it working and you made it sound, then you can take a picture of it. And so, okay. Now, yeah, so as long as you have it plugged in, you can just issue sudo and then the song. In the creators repository, there are other songs on there. So if you wanted to play other songs that were written by CNC, you would then have to navigate to the directory where it's located and then play the song if it's not in the same directory. Okay, because you cloned it already, it should be there also. Okay. All right. Any questions? Yeah, there are not a lot of really great tutorial of buzzer with full songs out there. They have some stuff that makes, little noise here and there for Raspberry Pi compared to Arduino. Arduino got a lot of stuff, but Raspberry Pi, you don't have that. I know that there's a Super Mario one. There are a couple other things out there that you can check out, but in general, I wanted to show you can pull everything from the terminal. Okay. All right, questions? No question. Okay, so don't forget to take a picture of your circuit after it's done playing, and then you can use that for submission. Okay. And for the second one, if you don't have the buzzer, you can also do this one. This one doesn't require any circuit or anything like that. You just use your Raspberry Pi. So I want to take this opportunity to show you the flexibility of Raspberry Pi, to show you how you can use it as a game server. You can next week we are going to do some programming with some game, um, and so you know I just want to make sure that I tested it for the Pi 4 because I've done it with Pi 3 many times. It's just sometimes Pi 4 changes. So and so we are going to do some synthesizer. We are going to do some beats. We're going to do some music using also Raspberry Pi. Okay. All right. So here's the link for the tutorial. So basically you are going to set up the server, and you can use the server to play with your friends. Like I mentioned yesterday, um, there is some also additional tutorial on the website, right? There are a few tutorial for this particular server, and I had gone through several tutorial to make sure the ones that's working is going to be accurate or good for you to use. Okay, so I had written down similar steps. There's some steps that's also changed. So all you need is going to be your Raspberry Pi 4. You can use the 3 with this too. And then make sure that your Raspbian OS is already installed. You will need internet connection because you are going to do some clone or set up the key. And the reason why you should take a look at that link, you can open that up inside your Raspberry Pi because it's a lot easier when you get to the commands that have really lengthy key information. You can just copy it and then paste it into your terminal. Otherwise, you have to type it exactly like that, and sometimes it always doesn't match up. So um, you can copy the command and input that in. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go over this a little bit so that way you can see. Close. There's a lot of ads on these type of sites. Okay. So before we start the second exercise, do you have any question? No question. Okay. So I don't want to give you a lot of stuff to do. I just, because I'm mindful that it is a 2-week course, I want to make sure that, you have the exercise that you do are a little bit different than the previous ones so that way you can gain a little bit more knowledge. But at the same time, I don't want to bombard you with a lot of assignments because this is a non-credit course, but should be, useful so that way you can gain additional knowledge through this class. So we are going to use Mono and we are going to use TShock for this particular exercise. And so Mono is an open source implementation for .NET framework. And this is basically just allowing the system to, it's a programming interface for Windows application. So you do see that, coming from Windows environment into Linux is a little different, but we can install Mono onto Raspbian OS, and we would use the terminal to do that. So just like always, when you install any kind of packages, you need to make sure that you update and upgrade. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time, but we want to make sure that we have the proper update before we install. Okay. So we are going to go into the terminal, and then if you want to clear your screen, you can just issue the command clear, and it's gonna. And then we want to get out of this right here. Okay. So you are going to just type in CD for change directory, and that's going to take you back to the root. Okay. Another way you can do is you do CD space ... That will just take you back one level and then another level and then another level. So CD space ... takes you back one directory. But if you just type in CD for change directory, it takes you back to the home directory or to the original location. Or if you confuse, and you can just close it and then reopen terminal, and it should bring you back to the home location as well. Okay. Any question? Okay. So we are going to do sudo apt get install update. Sorry. only sudo apt-get update. Okay, so here we would update and then we would do sudo apt-get upgrade. And it's going to ask you yes or no. So after the operation, we want to say yes. Okay. So after we update and upgrade, what we're going to do is we are going to set up. So in order to install Mono, we need to add Ubuntu key server. And this key server, that will allow us to acquire the repository where the Mono project is going to be. Okay. So when you look at the step 2, just know that this is where we would set up the key server so that way we can acquire the files and the folders that were written that store the actual script for Mono. Okay, so let me try something real quick. Any question? Okay, so don't forget we move back to the home directory when we do the update and upgrade. I think I put in the TShock one, but let me, yeah. So I already have TShock installed. So what you want to do is you want to copy this command right here. Okay. And then you can open this page up in your Raspberry Pi and then copy this and then put it in. Unless you want to type it, you can. It's just when you get to the key right here, make sure that you have all the digits. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay. So once you have the key server set up, then you will be able to have a package manager that allows you to obtain the repository for Mono. Then you can add the package by doing the echo, and then this is going to be where the path, basically it's a URL for the Mono repo with the Debian Raspbian Buster. Like I said yesterday, this right here needs to be specific to the version of the OS you're using. So if you're using like the really old one like Wheezy, you got to make sure that it's for Wheezy or Jesse, or so right now the current one is Buster, so that's what you need. Okay, because they've written for different releases of Debian. So basically we tell it to create, right, the package, and it needs to pull it for Mono Xamarin. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, copy this, and then you can go into, did it start my TShock already? I think it did, because I already did this yesterday. See if I can issue this. Yes. Okay. Okay. So you should get something like that. And then after that, we are going to do update and upgrade again. So you can simply press your arrow up a few times or type it in. Okay, and then we're going to do the upgrade. So far we set up the key server. Then we obtain the package, the mono package. We have update and upgrade again. That's the next process. Then now officially, then we are going to do the installation, okay, of mono. So we would then install mono complete. And mine is a little bit different than yours in that I already had it installed previously. So yours, it might give you a longer output as it's gonna unpack that and install it. Okay. So pay attention to what you're seeing in the output. So if it's giving you that it cannot install it because something was not set up, then you have to go back to the prior step and troubleshoot it. Otherwise, later on you will not have the server running. Any question? Okay. So some of the things that we will need is we are going to have to set up what's called the TShock. Okay. And TShock is a software. You can find information on their also GitHub page. And so TShock software would be used for Terraria Server. And so that will give you the management features. And TShock has its own command, like you saw in the list that I provided below, right? Like if you wanted to set up new world, you can press N and then it's going to create the new world. And then if you want to set up, let's say, time like noon, you can change the time. So it allows you, it understands a certain type of command that will be used for the actual server itself. Okay. So after you have installed Mono, then what you're going to do next is we are going to make a folder or a directory called TShock. And then we are going to move into it, just like what we've done before. Okay. So make mkdir and then that will be a till. Yeah. Oh, I already have one, so, but you get the point. Okay, so once you have created that, then you can move into okay. You can move into the actual folder. Make sure that you see that in blue because that's the path that you need to be in. Then once we have entered the directory TShock, then we are going to pull, right, the zip folder. Basically, we're going to download that and then we're going to unzip it. And so that way we can access the executable so we can play our game, right? Or run our game on our server. Okay. So I'm going to go down. I don't think they have the rest of this. Yeah. So a little bit different than there's some steps that are the same and then there's some steps that I also skip, but here is the we get from that website. Okay. wget, so we're gonna put that in here. Okay, so that means that we downloaded a compressed folder that would contain the executable that we need to start our game server. And before that, we have to set up all the services that's needed in order for it to work. Okay. Any question? Okay. So after we have downloaded the compressed folder or the zip folder, we would then need to unzip it. Okay. Now, let's say that you do this a few months from now or a year from now. Make sure that you check out the version of it. We are using the version 4.3.26, but later on, they might depreciate this version. That means that they no longer support it. Then you're gonna have to pull the newest version. So you just got to make sure that you check out how the GitHub repository and what kind of version is available there. Okay, so just keep in mind. Okay, so I already downloaded that. Then I'm going to go ahead and unzip it using unzip. So I had mine already, right? Um, I'm not going to unzip it or replace it. So I'm going to go ahead and press none. But you need to press yes, or if that's prompted to you, or it just extract it automatically. Okay. Okay, so once we unzip it, we would be able to access the executable that will be for this game server. So what we're going to do is we are going to then use Mono to execute it. Okay, so here. Okay. So you would likely see two type of world, right? And I made one that's called K World yesterday to test. So you can enter an existing world by typing in the number, or you can have, new world, or you can delete a world. So let's say I want to make another world. We're just going to press N, and then we want to start with the small size. So we are going to go 1, right? How hard do you want it to be? Let's do normal, right? And then you can choose your option there by just typing in the number. Um, let's say we wanted to make it corrupt, right? And then we'll just say test world. And so once you set up your world information, it's what's going to build is it's going to build. This is what's happening in the background, right? Like it's going to make caves, holes, walls, jungle, etc. So it's putting in all of these things for the background, and it's building that. Yes. We will be doing Minecraft next week, by the way, programming it. So, yes. So once you have your world set up, follow the instructions. I put the link on there for you. You can use another device to go in and start playing it and see. So now you already set up your world. You can enter that world, and then you can play it. So there you go. Now you know how to. So this process takes a little bit. It depends on, what you choose. So mine is still adding. Yesterday I tested it, or a few days ago when I tested it again, it took me like I don't know, 5-10 minutes, 7 minutes or so to get the world set up. And then, so yeah. So we're gonna do a little bit of Minecraft programming in Python next week. Um, Not necessarily the latest, but I want to show you how you can actually program it. I know that you've probably seen like Scratch with it, other languages with it, but we are gonna do some programming with Minecraft next week. Okay. So just a little bit of everything so you can see how you can use your Raspberry Pi. Um, it's still going, so I want to share screen and let you see. Okay, so it's at beaches and sand right now, and it's building the dirt. Okay. Okay, so once you have this, you can leave your Raspberry Pi on when your friends or family, as long as they're in the same network with you, like when they come to your house, or if you give them access, right, they should be able to access your server and be able to play with you. But they need to install the app. Yeah, because it's really just doing that in general. On your computer, sometimes, you have other resources that are taking up, your processing power and also your RAM. So right now, the Raspberry Pi, that's all it's doing right now. So you do see a little bit of, faster response, especially with the Pi 4. Okay. Okay, there you go. So now you accomplish that. So while it's setting up, I want to bring your attention to how you can. Okay, so they recommend that you would start with the small world, and because if you start with the larger world, sometimes it can cause delay. So, and then what you name your world, okay, and so once you see how that's used, you can use the commands to run. There are This is the general command that I pull from fandom actually. So you can see you can exit. So if you want to shut down, you would tell it to exit. If you wanted to implement password, and so on. So there's some general list of command for you to use. Okay. Now, after you have it ready, you can invite your friends to join your world and play it. Okay. Um, so when you look at this guide right here, okay, it kind of walk you through on how to set this up using, different type of system. We already done that with our Raspberry Pi, so we can skip most of this part, right? We don't need the configuration file. So here is the section where it talks about connecting to the server, right? In your local network, you just need the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. Or if you need to use it over the internet, you need to make sure that your router is port forwarding, and you can click this to be able to see the instruction to set it up. Okay, so now you have a working game server at home. Any question? Okay. Okay, so just to show you where mine is at right now. Okay, so now I have two worlds. Okay, so if I wanted to go into the first one, I can do one, and then I can set up my players, right? Maximum players, let's do 5, and then you can set up your server port and so on. Okay, so have fun with it, and test to see if it works. Invite people at your home to join you and see. Okay. From what I know, it should be. I'm not. Hold on one second. Let me look. I don't really play it. I know that some of the kids they play it. Let's see. Yeah, so you can download the actual application to play it for free. Um, and then, but if you like, I know for on Android and even Windows, you can play it for free. But if you join certain servers, sometimes they charge. So if you have it, you can play it. You have a server, and you're just hosting it from your house. Right? And then you can now, like, um, you know if you do this with younger kids, you can set up one and then you can have them play on it. I think when I did this at College of the Desert, and with cyber camp, I just have one person set it up, and then the other ones, you know they join and they play it. So, and that's one way you can test it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm trying to find where I can download it because on Steam it's $10. So,
Oh, really? For the app?
well, you said right now Android. Like I said, I never heard of Terraria before. So, but now
Uh-huh.
you said that's an app, so I guess I'm gonna look on the iPhone. Uh,
Yeah, maybe on the mobile app, because I see that like some website, but it could be, hold on. In the past it was free. I don't yeah, so they have the unlocked version free on Steam. And then I know, like, from other websites, like Softonic for Windows PC, and then there just be careful with some of these sites. For on Google Play, I think on there they charge $4.99, but you can find websites that they have the free version of it. Okay. I
Okay.
don't know if they are the latest though. I can't promise you, but in the past it was free. So maybe that now that they are building it to mobile app, they charge it because they have to cloud host it. So yeah.
Yeah, probably because I'm looking like you said, I'm trying to be safe, not trying to get like a free download from a shady website. But yeah,
Yeah,
game
I
is
know.
kind
I
of,
know some of them on mine, like my security software, it will tell me whether the site is safe or not. But just be careful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it looks and feel like the Minecraft. Okay. So the look and feel of it is very much like Minecraft. Um, so you're gonna see like the 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 graphic on it is gonna look very much like Minecraft. I never really fully played it. I just we just basically test it with Raspberry Pi and let the kids play it. So okay. So if you don't want it to play it and you can't get the software to play it, just take a screenshot or your server information and yeah, it's a 2D world and Minecraft is a 3D world. Okay, good. Thank you, Albert. I don't know. Okay. All right. Any question? Okay, so only thing that you need to submit for the lab for this week for because we are not going to meet tomorrow. I'm going to be on for a while in case you need help or if if some of you need have questions or something. If you like to stay on, you can. Um, that's pretty much all she wrote today. I don't have anything else because this is the first week of Raspberry Pi. Some of you are still setting up your Pi. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's not like Minecraft. Yeah, I don't know. I know that like even in the Minecraft programming that we've done, I have very limited knowledge with Minecraft. So I know my students they play it. I know some of the kids that I know they play it. Uh, but I'm very much out of tune with Minecraft. So sorry. Yeah.
On that note, since I remember you saying that next week we're gonna do a Minecraft server, is that game free or is there like a download link?
Oh yeah. So the Minecraft version that we're gonna use is we're actually gonna program it. Like we're gonna blow stuff up with programming. We're gonna add flowers. We're gonna add terrain. So whatever you can do on the game level, we're gonna program it. So yeah, it is gonna be free. Mhm.
Okay. And then you said we can just take a picture of
Of the world that you created, and that's fine.
okay, yeah, because I can't find I can't seem to find the link
That's
for
okay.
Microsoft.
Yeah. So if you can't play it, you can just take a picture of what you have, your server that you set up.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you.
No, no problem. Other questions? Okay, so you heard what David said. If you can't find a free app to test your game, after you set up your server, you can just take a picture of that. So the next time I teach this, I think I'm gonna switch gear to do a different type of server. But now you can see how that will work. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.